Good morning, I'm Kevin Price. Welcome to the Price of Business. Delighted to be with you. Got a lot to cover on today's program, as usual, and I want to jump straight into it. Brendan Burke, he's our first guest. He participated in a series of articles that we did over at priceofbusiness.com on how to access hard to reach in business. Brendan, welcome to the program. Brendan, tell us a little bit about yourself and about your company.
Sure thing. I'm the Director of Business Development at Headwaters MB. We're a middle market-focused investment banking firm headquartered out of Denver, Colorado. We typically help entrepreneurs and business-owning families sell their business or raise capital.
Okay. And I'm looking at your website. It looks like a big emphasis on small to mid-market size. How big is about as big as you get?
So our transactions vary in size. On the low end, about $25 million, and on the high end, about $250 million.
Oh, well, that's pretty substantial.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, what is the, and it's an interesting thing. I find these kind of transactions, how so many businesses are trying to wing it on their own. In fact, I saw an article recently where I think they said 90% of all businesses or 80% of all businesses end up not being sold. They just kind of disappear after the primary owner fades away. How do you explain that type of thing?
Well, we believe that we're in the midst of a transition wave right now, particularly with the graying of the baby boom generation. And so we see a lot of transaction volume generated by people thinking about retirement and thinking about estate planning. But remarkably, a lot of business owners haven't put those plans in place. And so some businesses will just sort of disappear into the night if their founder has a health problem or some other family issue, or they'll call folks like us, and if they're sufficient size, they can sell the business.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, and I guess, for the business owner, it's probably about as much fun to talk to you about transition as it is to talk to a life insurance salesperson.
Well, yeah, I think, a business owner for us, hopefully it'll be a slightly more pleasant conversation because usually they get a check at the end of their interaction with us rather than them writing the checks.
Instead of writing the check, yeah, that makes sense. That's a good. That might become your byline. That might be the thing that really makes things go. I'm curious on because I read a book I think about 6 or 7 years ago called the $10 trillion Opportunity. You might be familiar with the book. And it's about the fact that baby boomers are reaching retirement at a breakneck pace. Mm-hmm. Now over 30% of the population are baby boomers, and I'm on the very young scale end of it. I'm barely a boomer, and I'm 52, and so it's incredible the population transition happening.
Well, we think that it's the greatest asset transition that we'll ever have seen in the history of the United States. And our firm is strategically positioned to help wealth management advisors capture those assets through transitions and M&A.
Are wealth management advisors a typical ally for you?
Absolutely. We source a tremendous amount of business for the large wealth management firms that are unable to execute those investment banking transitions on their own. Oftentimes those organizations will have their own investment banks, but those institutional investment banking departments are focused on doing deals for the Fortune 1000 companies, whereas our target clients are middle market companies, sort of below their radar.
Okay. How do you get access to those kind of people?
We have institutional relationships with many of the large investment banks. Some of our folks have worked in those organizations, and we cover them and try and facilitate those transactions through those organizations.
Okay. And how old is your company?
We were incorporated in 2001.
Yep, and I see you have over 70 professionals that you work with.
Indeed.
Yeah. So interesting. So are there particular industries that gravitate towards your firm, or do you work really across the board?
So we have 7 practice areas: industrials, services, TMT, healthcare, consumer, aerospace and defense, and energy and natural resources.
Okay. Run that one more time.
Industrials, business services, energy and natural resources, technology, media and telecom, healthcare, consumer products, and aerospace and defense.
Yeah, very good, very good. So 2014, what kind of year for you?
We are fantastically busy right now. We closed 2 deals last week. We'll close 2 deals this week, and we'll close probably, knock on wood, 2 deals next week. So we're rocking.
Well, that's fantastic. Well, thanks for rocking with us a little bit today. What's the best website for people to get more information?
HeadwatersMB.com.
HeadwatersMB.com. Make sure you check it out. Brendan Burke, he is the Director of Business Development, of that firm. And you can also read our interview with him at priceofbusiness.com. Brendan, thanks so much for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
When we come back, much more for you. We want to remind you, best content here, it does go up over there at usdailyreview.com. While there, make sure you like it on Facebook. Follow it on Twitter. I am Kevin Price. This is The Price of Business.
Everyone's watching.